you are looking at day 3, so hang around for all the days. I already talked about starting in day 1, what the ingredients are, what the name is, and all that kind of stuff. I'll just say very briefly, we are doing the Jane Iredale HydroPure Tinted Serum. But what I didn't say in those days is what my skin type is, which is important for you to know so you can kind of weigh it in comparison to yourself. I'm 60 years old and my skin is on the dry side. I don't have flaky skin though. I don't have dry little pieces of skin coming off. But I am not producing the same amount of hyaluronic acid, of ceramides, of elastin, of collagen, of oils that younger skin does, that helps younger skin be plump and youthful and glowing, not so much anymore. I do, however, try to keep in mind other skin types and constantly reference this might be good for oily, this might be good for normal. So if you are one of those people, keep on watching. Also, before we get started, let me prevail upon you. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, or if you start to like it, or just for the hell of it. It doesn't cost you anything to help me out. Because of these algorithms for YouTube, more thumbs up and more comments, YouTube will push out. And I really try to reply to, or at least heart, all my comments. So comments below, thumbs up, and let's get going. Day 1. Another foundation, another 3-day wear test, I hope. This is with Jane Iredale's HydroPure Tinted Serum that looks like this. Wait a minute. Yeah, it looks like this. Why are we confused? This is the foundation I tried a couple of months ago and I really liked it. And I really like the color. And several people said it's being discontinued and it's being replaced, and I think this is what it's being replaced with. If you look closely, I think that you can see there's more gel, more clear space in between the spears on this one than on this one. So I haven't been using this since I knew it was going to be discontinued, not on camera, but I do really like it. It is still available. I will link it down below. I'll link everything down below that I'm putting on my face. But I do want to say that if you have dry skin, moisturize well. I think I said that in the video where I first explored this. I think it would be great for oily, combo, normal, if there is such a thing. But for dry skin like mine, moisturize well. I do moisturize well, so I'm fine with it. So I wanted to get this new product, and I actually saw Lisa J talk about it in the last 2 months or so. And she had said that she uses it all the time by itself if she's going to the gym. And again, I saw it a few months ago, so don't quote me on this. But she oftentimes, most of the time, uses it under foundation, which I think is odd. Let's see if we can do this without the glasses. We cannot. Okay, what it is, a hydrating tinted serum with hyaluronic acid. Who's it for? All skin types, especially sensitive skin. What it does, the tinted serum formula with hyaluronic acid that helps plump, soothe, blur lines, and even skin tone for sheer coverage and a dewy, youthful look. How to use: 1 to 2 pumps and mix with fingers to combine the pigment with the serum. Apply the serum evenly to face and neck. Pair with your favorite broad spectrum SPF for additional coverage. Oh, and for additional coverage. Top with your favorite foundation. And the ingredients that they mention is hyaluronic acid. We know that that is a humectant. Coenzyme Q10, which is an antioxidant. Shea butter, which is moisturizing. Aloe, which I'm really not too sure about aloe. I see a lot of people using it. I find aloe to be a little bit drying. It is a gel, but maybe it's good for sensitive skin. And willow bark extract, which I know is good for the skin, I think is very soothing and good for redness. So this is what my plan is. Today, I'm just going to put it on my face. I already did my skincare, and I'll post that video right there. And I've already done my sunscreen, which leaves my face looking a little bit shiny. That's just the way I look. Even before my sunscreen, I'm a little bit shiny. And, we'll do a little bit of concealer, and then I'm going to cut away to do another video and show you the final look after I put everything on and what my experience is. Then I want to see how to work with this. So I recently got this. It's a corrector and it really wiped out my reds, and it makes sense to me. If I want to do something really sheer, first I need to cover my redness, because that's one of the things I'm really looking to cover with the foundation. And maybe these two together would be fantastic. And then I will try it under a foundation. Now I think the idea behind this is your skincare in a tint. And I would never recommend that you look to get your skincare from a foundation from a tint. Just me. I don't even like to buy serums that have 10 different things in them. I'd rather have, this is my C, this is my niacinamide, this is my that, this is my other thing. But I thought about it last night, and I think the truth is, unless you are a dedicated viewer of YouTube and you come here a couple of times a week and you watch a variety of videos from a variety of people, you are probably, most women are probably people who wash their face and they put it on a moisturizer, and they don't do serums. Most women. And for those women, maybe this is something that is doable, because they're not going to use a C, you know? And hopefully they're putting on sunscreen. So that's who I'm thinking it's for. Doesn't mean it wouldn't be meaningful to me, and let's give it a try. I'm going to do 2 pumps. This is probably a pump and a half. And I will post right here what color I got, because the box is in the other room. And yeah, it doesn't really need that much breaking up. I feel like they're already kind of broken up. The color looks pretty good for me. My hands are much darker, lighter than my face. So immediately I feel that once I spread it out, it has a very watery kind of nature to it. And yeah. Not much coverage. But at the same time, I gotta say, if you are more mature, you fell away from makeup for a long time, you don't want to look makeup-y, maybe this is something for you. When I did see Lisa J do it, to me, Lisa J, maybe it's her lighting, you know, her camera, whatever, but she also doesn't get very close, but her skin, to me, looks insanely beautiful. So it's kind of hard to tell, you know. And someone whose skin is just, as far as I can tell, her skin is perfect. Whenever she does foundation reviews, I think, I can't see the difference between your skin before and your skin after. Okay. Well, you know, I was going to do a makeup look, but I feel like this is just, really, it's pretty close to nothing. Now, I did rub my face, which brings out more redness. So I think what I'm going to do is take my Givenchy concealer, and we're going to just do a little bit of touching up. The Givenchy Prism Libre, and we're just going to do a little work here. Certainly the under eyes, right? But there's some redness right here that is very severe. You know, I'll do a little here and a little here, but I'm not going to do, well, now I got to even everything up. I guess I'll do a little bit here and right here, because my nose is a little bit red. So for me, if I had less to cover, I might actually like this for just a casual day. But the two things that fit in this category that I own would be the Jones Road What the Foundation and the Western Atelier. And both of those give me a little bit more coverage. Well, maybe even a lot more coverage. And with those, I don't feel that I have to do a little spot work with a concealer. So basically, I'm just evening up the center of my face, and I'm just using the Hot and Flashy. And this concealer kind of goes a long way. But I don't want to cheat and put this all over my face, but I do want to look decent. And I imagine, you know, there are days I have where I'm not as red, and maybe this would work for me under those conditions. Hi, baby. Okay. So, I think with the concealer, it's not a bad story. But see all that redness on the side of my face? It's like from here on, cool, from here on, a lot of redness. But this kind of redness to me looks like redness like you ran up a flight of stairs, as opposed to redness right here, which looks like we have a problem. It looks super pretty though, I have to say. Pull you in right now and you can see what it looks like on the skin. Now that watery nature has gone away and I can feel it setting up. Get a little bit of a tightness from this setting up situation. It's not emollient, so there's a difference between emollient and hydrating. Hydrating are watery kind of things to me, and you can feel them just infusing your skin with hydration, wateriness, and helps to plump everything up. Something that is emollient has oils in it. They could be whipped up with water so they're a little bit lighter, but those feel very soothing on dry skin. This, much like this, neither of these are emollient and they don't feel soothing in that way. So I do think, you know, if you don't have gusher oily skin, but you know, oily skin, you might like this. I also think that if you have normal skin or combo skin, this will be good for you. As a person who has dry skin, it doesn't feel uncomfortable. I do wish it covered more of this redness. I do. You know what? Let's just build it and see how it builds. So I did one more pump. I just want to see if this builds at all. So I'm not going where I did the concealer. I don't think it did. And they don't claim that it is buildable, but I'm just kind of curious. Okay, you know what, you guys? I can't. I'm sure if I was just going to run some errands, I would be fine with this. I am going to have to do a little more coverage over here because I'm doing another video. Okay, so I have this red clump right here and discoloration right here and a little here for good measure. And it seems that this blends. I love this concealer because it's not heavy, it's very light, and it just moves around very, very nicely. And yeah, so that's a little bit better. I can live with this. Back in a flash, I'll show you my final look for today or show you what happens tomorrow. All right, this is another video, and I'll post it right here because it's going up first. It's the new Hourglass sticks. And all I did was powder my face, not because I didn't feel that this was set. It absolutely feels set, but to reduce the sheen on my face, and I think that's a very nice result. I didn't do a cream bronzer. I didn't do any bronzer at all. I have to say, I think this color is spot on for me, but when it's so sheer, that's not hard to do. And then I did a blush. This is the Vive, which I recently posted about in my monthly favorites, I think, which is a lovely kind of tawny color. Anyway, the makeup I am wearing, I will list down below. And I think the skin looks super, super pretty. But you saw, in order to get any kind of coverage at all, I had to go in with concealer. Look at that forehead. Wow. I do feel that it does blur a little bit. I don't know how to explain it. It was, because it was so shiny, I could see pores, but I don't have big pores. But at the same time, they felt blurred. So it does do something, a little je ne sais quoi, but I don't know what. Je ne sais pas, je ne sais quoi. All right, day 2 next. Welcome to day 2. I put on my sunscreen, my moisturizers, all that stuff, and this has been setting for about 20 minutes, so I think we're okay. But before we go on with day 2, let me tell you a little bit about day 3. Day 3 wore all day long, and this is the first time ever that I neglected to check in a magnifying mirror what was going on all day, because I shot day one, and I shot the hourglass, and I edited both. And then I really needed to highlight my hair while it was still earlier in the day, which takes me forever. And then I took a shower, and in the shower, I forgot to look. And you know what? My makeup was still on my face. It was very comfortable to wear, and I thought it looked pretty. I felt that the powder, which is the By Terry I use with everything, combined with this, it really kind of mattified me. And usually when I put on the By Terry on my other foundations and there's a little too much sheen, the sheen comes back in a few minutes, and it didn't with this. So if you're looking for something that is on the matter or more natural side, this is probably going to do it for you. So I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. I'm doing the red today to see what's going on. So there's a little bit of lightness on my face. That is from my sunscreen, and I did massage in the whole bit. So a lot of redness in the morning, but when I first wake up, I'm not red. I'm just gonna, red out everything here. The idea to me is if I can get rid of my red, wearing something really light coverage won't bother me. I mean, the red is my primary issue. Now, I don't know if this will work because this is such a sheer foundation. The white that this leaves on me might come through. I do want to let this set up for a few minutes, but I will say that this product sets up beautifully. And instead of using my powder, I'm going to use my Ray Morris mattifier. This is a silicone-based mattifier that flipped to the wrong side, but it's completely clear. And I thought that might help me out with mattifying, and I want to see what kind of outcome I'll get with that. So I'm just going to let this set, and then we will apply. I just applied it, and the camera wasn't on. So can you tell I applied it? I'm thinking no. So the corrector brings a whiteness, and I already had a little bit of whiteness from my sunscreen, but I was hoping that I would get enough cancellation on the redness where this would just be a natural evening things out. But I feel like it hasn't done anything. So this kind of application is a bust. The idea, I think, was a good one. If I can cancel out my redness, it doesn't matter if I have something that's really light, but as it happens, this does leave my skin a little too light, and I'm kind of like, I am not feeling it. I am going to do concealer to see if that helps, because I think I'm looking at that darkness, and because this is such a light foundation, I want to do a very light concealer rather than my Tom Ford or something that has a lot of coverage, because that can look a little bit weird. I can't believe the camera wasn't on. No, this is not the application I was hoping for. So I'm going to do a mix that I've been doing lately that I love. I take my Suqqu and I dot that on my face a bit. It's a teeny bit light for me, but I'm feeling kind of light. And then I just kind of discovered this the other day when I was playing. I'm taking the Givenchy Prism Libre concealer, and I'm just kind of mixing those together. But these two together are so nice. Somebody even complimented me. What foundation are you wearing? I love it. It's not a foundation. But this Givenchy for me is, I think, what the Dior concealer is for everybody else. And the Dior concealer, I will say it again, I just have a color that doesn't work for me. But I really like this Givenchy for the face. For the eyes, it's not that great, not compared to the Tom Ford. So it's funny, this is what I wanted to do tomorrow, was putting this under a foundation. Okay, so this looks really pretty. I am going to go in with the Ray Morris, and I'm using a puff. I'm just taking this I can see, because it's black, I can see the product is here. But I am going to fast forward, putting on some other products and seeing how they work together. And yeah, we're gonna do it all. All right, I'm back. And, oh, the shine is coming back a little bit too, but I'm getting a little warm. I will say I'm not, I don't know. It worked well with everything. There were no incongruencies, no, lack of handshakes. But, okay. This doesn't work if you have a little sweat on your face. Okay, I feel like this is kind of a bust today. Just, things didn't turn out like I wanted them to turn out, starting with when I put this on over the corrector, it looked like nothing, and the corrector makes me a little bit lighter. There's just not enough coverage in this to help that out. This is just too light to do that. Yesterday I thought the skin looked very, very pretty, even though I wasn't getting much coverage and I had to go in with the concealer. But today I'm not. And let's be honest, I made a couple of mistakes. I put on that silicone powder and then I put on the balm. Then I went on with the powder blush, and everything was actually fine. It's just now I'm started to get a little wet on the face, a little bit of sweat. And so I thought, let's just cancel that and go back in with the Ray Morris, and it kind of took everything off. And I'm blending it back in. You know what, I think altogether I just feel like, for me, what is the purpose? There's no reason for this if you're going to wear it under foundation. I don't get it. Unless you're somebody who doesn't do a lot of skincare and you just want your hyaluronic acid and you want your coenzyme Q10 and your aloe and your squalene and call it a day. But for me, I put things on my face. I have serums and moisturizers and all that stuff. So I don't feel that I need that. And I'm not really sure what the benefit is of putting it under your foundation. But I feel like, from what I did just now, to make a judgment call would be a mistake because I did so many things, you know what I mean? First I started with this, and then I mixed this with the Suqqu, and then I did the balm, and I did the Ray Morris. It was a lot. So I think overall it looks pretty. There's a hummingbird right outside the door. Oh, he left. He or she. I just... Not a good day today. It looks fine. It looks fine. So we will come back for day 3. This deserves a day 3. And we did learn some lessons here. This and this is a no. That's our biggest lesson. Because everything else evolved out of that. All right. Back in a flash. This is like my second comeback, you guys. But I kept on playing with my makeup because I just didn't feel pretty. And I went on with bronzer. I have to tell you, I went on with the Jones Road powder bronzer. I did both medium and the light. And instead of using this brush, which I usually use this, something so I can be really precise, I went in with this. This is the BK Beauty 103. And I did it like I see so many people do it, which is kind of all over the face, which helped with how light everything was. And I added a couple of highlighters and changed the lip up a little bit, and now I put on some mascara, and now I look in the mirror and I feel like I look pretty. So I can live with myself today, because I was thinking, I just wasn't really pleased with what's going on, and now I'm going to scooch in. And the light is different right now, so it's a little bit later in the day, and I feel like it's a combination of I put on that bronzer, but things are now a little bit warmer in this room because it's a little bit later. And I think the skin looks very pretty. I really do. I just feel like I had to overcome issues. but I just feel like it was the second or third issue, and it just made it feel like this whole thing's crumbling down. But I just want to say I managed to rescue my look, I think, and I feel pretty. That's all I want. I just don't want to feel bleh. And now let's go on to day 3. You guys, welcome to day 3, which immediately followed day 2. You saw all the issues that I had yesterday. It was a bit of a snowball effect. It was a little bit of a hot mess. The skin looked fine. There was something kind of plumping about it, I have to say, with those like areas that I have right here that is beginning to show those horrible signs of aging that I really don't like. Kind of plump that up a little bit. Comfortable, wore all day. We're done with day 2. Now with day 3, I decided I'm going to go back to basics because I'm trying to figure out who would this work for. I did a couple of things different this morning. I did do my zip and I did facial massage, and that brings redness to my face, but I didn't use my vitamin C, which also brings up my red because I am kind of sensitive, and I used a derivative instead. And then I used my Tula Mineral Magic. This is a mineral sunscreen I've spoken about before. It's really lightweight. It's not heavy and Elmer's glue like. And they color this with a peachness. And that peachness kind of helps tone down the red. And what I had hoped to do was emulate someone who doesn't have a lot of redness, doesn't have a lot to cover, to see if this is really going to do something for them. Because not all people, certainly, I would hope, most people don't have as much redness as I do. So this has been on for quite some time. I'd say a solid half an hour. And we're going to go in again with the fingers and let's give it a go. Again, just feels really watery. And I don't have a lot of shine on my face today, like I usually do. And that is 2 pumps, you guys. I'm going to have to do another pump. And this will set up pretty fast, so I would recommend doing one section at a time. But I can feel it setting up, which is why I'm just doing a little patting instead of stroking. And this is what it's like on my hand. So hand, I don't have any hand lotion on. And then this, there's a little bit of luminosity to this, not a lot. And you can see, because my hand is so pale, there is a little bit of color, just not coverage. So I may regret this, but I'm going to go on with my Tom Ford concealer. And the reason I say I may regret this is because this is more full coverage, and it might look odd using full coverage under the eyes when you have just a tint on your face. So they work together very nicely, no problem with that. Let's go on with my Clé de Peau. It's not raining and it's warm, and she is so happy to be sunning herself. You know what? I think it looks really, really pretty. I do. I do want to do a little bit of concealing around my nose where I have redness from my glasses. And right here. But unlike the first day, I'm not going to put it all over here, all over here, and all over here. And I don't think I actually really need it because of the precautions I took with my prep. So this is actually probably the way this product works for people who don't have a lot of redness. This is kind of a natural skin look. I just wanted to get rid of that glasses situation. This is kind of it. This is the idea. I'm going to use a touch of powder, not a lot, because I found that this is very responsive to powder. Although I do want a powder where I put that concealer. Okay, now since I'm going for the, oh my god, your skin is so beautiful and you're not wearing any makeup kind of look, I'm not going to bronze. For me, bronzer is really, really appropriate if I'm going on with full coverage, and it just wipes out everything, and then I need to put some flesh tones back in, but because there's no coverage here, or hardly any coverage here to here, right? Now this is fully dry. Yeah, a little bit of sheen here. I don't want to do bronzer, and the blush is fine. I'm not going to do contour. I'm really going for the, wow, your skin is so pretty. But I do want to play around a little bit with my eyes, and I'll be right back. And I have my notes, and I have my final conclusions. This application I really like. First day application, I really liked. Yesterday it was kind of a problem. Back to flash. And here's my final look, really simple. I did the hourglass, I did 2 of the hourglass sticks, filled in my brows, put on a little lip and a teeny touch of mascara. And I feel, you know, save for, I have to say these hourglass are not super shiny, so they don't look very obvious, and they're not super opaque. So it's more like a wash of color. So it's not too, oh, you're wearing makeup-y. And I feel like my skin looks very, very pretty. I'm looking in this mirror thinking, oh yeah, color's so good. But before I interrupted myself, oh yeah, you have beautiful skin. It looks like I have beautiful skin. It doesn't look like makeup. And when I look in here, the magnifying mirror really looks lovely. So it took 3 tries to get there. I already pulled my box out. I put my boxes outside because I don't have that much room, and you know, throw them away after a couple of days. And I had it outside, and I pulled it in last night thinking I'm going to send this back, honestly. But now I'm thinking, I get it. I get it. It feels like nothing on my skin. The 2 other things that I would compare this to are the Westman Atelier and the Jones Road, but I get more coverage out of both of those 100%. And those feel like something on your skin, and they also leave the skin shiny. For me, both of those, I put a ton of powder on them, and it looks so, so pretty. This doesn't have as much coverage, obviously, but today I think I successfully demonstrated how you would wear this if you don't have a lot of redness to cover. And this is it. This is who I think it would work for. If you don't have a lot of redness, it just gives you a little bit of something. It really does do something. And both the ingredients are kind of doing a little je ne sais quoi over here, but you can see it does give you a little bit of color, although really not, I would say almost no coverage, but it unifies the color on your face. I totally get it now. I really do. And I don't think I'm going to send this back. I totally get it. But let's talk. I have notes. Okay, notes. It does something a little je ne sais quoi to the skin, and it does. I don't know what it is, but let me pull you in. Yes, the skin doesn't look perfect as far as, you know, redness, and as far as capillaries. They're diffuse, though, and dark spots, but the texture of the skin, something looks very, very pretty. It is long-lasting. It does not sink into lines or, you know, areas like this area right here. It sets up pretty darn fast, and it doesn't have an emollient feeling to it. So if you don't like an emollient feeling, you're going to like this. But if you have dry skin and you moisturize well, you're not going to find this dry either, unless you pound a lot of powder on it. Then you'll feel that dryness. But I didn't find it to be uncomfortable at all, and actually more comfortable than their foundation. Now, let's talk about this idea as tinted serum, because I think that's really what they're going for here. It doesn't really make sense to me, and I'll tell you why. If you're someone who doesn't use maybe 3 serums, a C, something hydrating, and maybe a peptide every morning, and you're thinking, well, I can just do this. You're right in a way. There is hyaluronic acid, which is a humectant. There is squalene, which is conditioning. There is willow tree, which is lightening. And there is coenzyme Q10, which is an antioxidant. Those are all great things to have, except you're probably going to put on your moisturizer first, which means these aren't really going to penetrate very well. You know what I mean? When you do your serums in the morning, I do essences first to hydrate and plump the skin, and plumped, hydrated skin that has a little bit of wetness to it, better receives the other things. Then I go on with my serums, then my moisturizer, then my sunscreen, then my makeup. And what this is implying is you can skip the serums and just use this. But most women do wear moisturizers and they should wear sunscreens. So these actives aren't really going to do much for you, in my opinion. You tell me, you guys. I feel like this looks like my skin. I feel like if I were to go out and run some errands and I ran into somebody I knew, they might say something like, "Oh my God, what are you doing to your skin?" Honestly. And who doesn't want a compliment like that? Who doesn't want to look a little bit perfected, a little bit better, and yet not makeup-y at all? I certainly do. Now, if you have, I swear, I think Lisa J has perfect skin. I said it earlier in the video, but in case I edited it out, when I see her do reviews on foundations, I think barely any difference with foundation on to off. It just might be the color tone. She has very, very nice skin. And if you have very nice skin, you don't really have things to cover up, then you're going to like this. It'll just even everything up a little bit. And if you have skin like I came to you here, where my redness was toned down, I think you're going to like this. But if you have redness like I do, when I do my C and when I use a different sunscreen, then you're going to have to do what I did on the first day, which is add a lot of concealer all over the place. I thought it looked beautiful, 100%. But, you know, I guess you have to decide, is that something you want to do? Just take a look at this, say, is that halfway of where I want? Is day 1 going to be me? Is day 2 going to be me? Or is day 3 me? I think that's the way to go look at it. Is day 1 you or day 2 you? And if you are Lisa J with really beautiful, beautiful skin, you really don't need anything, you're just evening out your skin tone, you're going to like this. But I feel, marketing-wise, they're saying, this is your skincare in a tint. That's a hard sell, unless you don't use moisturizer. And you guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. I really hope it was helpful, and I hope you come back again. Please consider giving me a thumbs up. It really helps the video. And until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health.